Sailor Moon will scare you into submission, guys.
Hi.
Hello, welcome to the Sailor Moon versus Sailor Moon panel. So this panel, at the end of it, we're really not gonna know which one's better, just so you know, but you're definitely gonna come out with a better formed opinion of how you feel about Sailor Moon or Sailor Moon Crystal. So who here has watched Sailor Moon? Awesome. And who's watched Sailor Moon Crystal? Okay, great. There will be spoilers, just so you know. So I am Sailor Tortilla. I am not an authority on Sailor Moon, but I really love Sailor Moon. I have a huge Sailor Moon collection, I do YouTube videos and all that stuff. So I spend a lot of my free time talking about Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon versus Sailor Moon Crystal. Sometimes it's really hard to compare these. Sometimes it's really easy. Sailor Moon Crystal had 2 different animation styles, and we're going to talk about all of the shenanigans with Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon Crystal. So let's start with Sailor Moon, just an overview of the series. You have 200 episodes to work with. Sailor Moon Crystal only has a few, maybe like 30 now. They're making movies, but Sailor Moon definitely has a lot of content to work with. There's a lot to watch. You fall in love with the characters, even with the filler episodes. So you do get time with the characters. That's something you do not get with Sailor Moon Crystal. There are more villains than even in the manga, and that's a pro and a con. You might like the villains, you might not, especially Alien Anne from season 2 Aliens. I love them personally, but you guys might, it's definitely filler. It's totally filler, so that's a pro and a con. There's lots of music in the original Sailor Moon show. Sailor Moon Crystal has a lot of opening themes, ending themes, but Sailor Moon had special music for specific fights, like the fight with Rubius, Queen Beryl, even the Princess Serenity transformation. There's just a lot of content, and that's musical, animated, character-wise. There are lots of dubs to the original show. There's 3. You have the Deke dub, which is the one that says Serena and Darien, and Zoisite is a lady.
Maybe.
Zoisite's totally not a lady, guys. And now there's the Viz dub. So you have a lot to choose from when it comes to Sailor Moon. There's 2 completely different ways of watching it. The ending has no Sailor Cosmos, and does anybody read the manga? All right, everybody knows.
It's confusing even in the manga.
It's very confusing, but the anime said, this is too confusing, we're gonna go with our own ending, which is cool, but for me, I would have liked to have seen the ultimate form of Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon Crystal. Okay, so there's 2 styles of Sailor Moon Crystal. You have season 1 and 2, which is on the left. It tries to look like the manga, but it moves, and some people love it, some people don't. I don't know what you guys feel about this.
They're absurdly skinny.
And then season 3, they kind of revamped Sailor Moon. Instead of doing online streaming only, they got some more budget, put it on Japanese TV. And it's really shiny, it's really pretty. One's really good, and one is, it's up to debate. Like, who really likes the original Sailor Moon Crystal, the way that it looks? One guy, 2 people. And season 3, it's just objectively higher quality. So there's no filler. So if you don't care about getting to know the characters, you don't want to know about the world building, it's really close to the manga. It focuses on the story and the story alone, and it's a clean version of Sailor Moon. So that's a reason to like Sailor Moon Crystal. Got lots of openings and endings. Do you have a question?
I was wondering about your thoughts on the filler of the original anime, because I don't like how filler is used as just a catch-all for bad episodes. So,
Well,
what do you think?
With other anime, filler might be good and it might be bad. With Sailor Moon, I think it's a mixed bag. We have the episode where Chibiusa meets a dinosaur. Like, honestly, like, I don't, does anybody know this episode? Does anybody, okay. Is it worth watching? I don't think it's worth watching. But we have other really great filler where Sailor Venus has that amazing episode about her backstory in England and how her boyfriend exploded, but not really. That's considered filler. And I think it's good when you get to learn more about the characters, like Sailor Mercury has a boyfriend all of a sudden. None of that happens in the manga. And some people don't like that. They're like, just do what's in the manga, which is why Sailor Moon Crystal is for people who really, really love the original Sailor Moon manga. And everyone can fly. There's no explanation to this. They kind of just float. And I think they're emulating what happens in the manga where Naoko Takeuchi, the author, she doesn't really do backgrounds. You know, Sailor Moon, she's never actually anywhere. Like, so she's on the moon, but there's nothing happening behind her. So I guess in this anime, they're like, well, I guess they're flying. So they animate them flying. And sometimes Sailor Jupiter has a green bubble. I don't know if that's her power, but by the time you get to season 3, Sailor Saturn's floating above the city. Sailor Moon's floating. It was one of the last episodes. And also, possible Sailor Cosmos. Hopefully she's coming. Also, if you don't know, Sailor Moon Crystal is still going on. They're making movies. They're making 2 movies for the Dream Arc, which is where the Pegasus shows up. It's awesome.
Have they set a release date for that?
No release date. Where is that? There's no release date. One of the editors of the original manga, Osabu, was at a con and he said they've started working on it. And if you're an Evangelion fan, that means it's not happening for 10 years. Yeah. So it's going to be 2 movies. Hopefully theatrical releases for us. Is anybody going to go see the movies this month? Yay! Okay, I'll see you guys there. So Sailor Moon Crystal's not over. It's not canceled. Don't freak out. So far, I haven't picked a winner between these 2 categories because we're going to talk about every character individually in my conclusion. That doesn't mean you have to have my conclusion. Sailor Moon. So we're going to have Sailor Moon from the original show and Sailor Moon from Crystal. And we're going to see which one we like better and which one I like better. In the original show, Sailor Moon is extremely clumsy. She's kind of clumsy in Crystal, but it's not to the same level. And she shows a lot of growth over time. You see her, she's really bad at everything, and then by the end of the show, she's amazing, and everyone's in love with her, right? Hey, dude, how's it going? So, I'm so glad you came. That's my friend Robert, you guys.
Hi, Robert.
I have friends. All right.
Girl.
Sailor Moon in the original show is really bad at computers. That's it. That's just a thing about her in the original show. And she dates a college student because Mamoru is in college in the original show. A con of Sailor Moon, unless you think that's really scandalous, and that's cool. So Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon Crystal, she's dating a high schooler, much safer territory, right? And she gets a long stick. And what do I mean? Her wands turn into long rods. That just doesn't happen in the show. And if aesthetically you like her to have just a big old swingy thing around, a disco stick, if you will, Sailor Moon Crystal gets it. She also has sleepovers with Tuxedo Mask, which implies lots of romance for Sailor Moon, so she's getting a little more action in the original. And she's still bad at computers, so that's kind of samey between the 2 shows.
Lots of romance. In season 1, they barely got to know each other before.
They hated each other in season 1, and he dated Sailor Mars. So between these 2 characters, I've just concluded that no one wins. Just nobody wins. This is how the panel starts. Like, no one's winning yet, but you'll see some characters are vastly improved. Next, Sailor Mercury. We've got all the different styles, the 2 Sailor Moon Crystal style, and the original where she has a kinship with Luna. I really appreciate that. Everyone kind of ignores Luna later on in the show. Until, she gets her own movie, but whatever. She kind of has a boyfriend in the original, so that's a plus. He's kind of weird. He sees the future. He has a lot of freak out moments. He's not chill. He's the opposite of chill. So I don't know if that's a pro or a con. She does have her own special, and anybody who's going to go see the movies is going to see the Amy and Love special. It's really cute. It's like half an hour, really high quality animation. If you've never seen it, you're going to love it. I love it so much. She has sleeves. Oh gosh. Really serious about fashion here. She has sleeves. And in Crystal, she does not have sleeves. So Sailor Moon Crystal version of Sailor Mercury. There's an episode in season 3 where she jumps out of a window and transforms. No one does that and that is amazing. She is so cool. Everyone says she's the bookworm, she's so boring. Nah, man, she's gonna straight up jump out of a window, transform while doing it. And she does it in the live action show as well. Has anybody seen Sailor Moon live action? Oh, that's a lot of hands. I didn't expect that many hands. I'm really excited. That's a really great show for those of you who have not seen live action Sailor Moon. It's really campy, it's like Power Rangers. And she's got no sleeves. So between the two, the original Sailor Mercury wins, because I can't unsee that. That animation hurts my soul. They fixed it in Blu-ray, so if you watch it online, Sailor Mercury did look like this. They fixed it in the Blu-ray. All right, moving on to Ray. I don't know where that picture came from, but I love it. So that's what we're gonna look at. In the original Sailor Moon, she's got kind of this dual personality. She's fighting with Usagi, then she's friends with Usagi. She's dating Usagi's boyfriend, but then they're cool, I guess. What? She did go on dates with Mamoru, which was kind of a plus. It makes it interesting. There's some conflict between the characters. There's that one guy that really likes her. Yuichiro, Chad, whatever. He works in the temple. He wants a piece of Sailor Mars, and that's amazing. I love their romance. It does not exist in the manga, not exist in Crystal, but it is one of my favorite things in Sailor Moon, ever. Everybody kind of has other relationships. In Sailor Moon Original, in Crystal, they only know Usagi. That's their only friend, apparently. All right, in Sailor Moon Crystal, she gets abducted by aliens. I don't know. There's almost nothing positive to say about her in Crystal, except she has a snake attack. It's just a snake. I don't know.
She gets beaten a lot.
So this is hardcore original Sailor Mars. It's gonna win between the two.
Nah. The other Sailor Scouts always get kidnapped in Crystal.
Everybody gets kidnapped. That's Tuxedo Mask has been kidnapped how many times, guys?
Yeah, but first, it seems that wants to like emphasize friendship and bonds. Like everybody gets kidnapped and mind controlled a whole lot.
It's great. Kidnapping's great. So Sailor Jupiter in the original Sailor Moon, she's got that one guy in her life in technically a filler episode in season 2. He helps her out when she like breaks up with her boyfriend and her other boyfriend and her other old boyfriends. And then she immediately forgets about him. And I have not forgotten him, because if anybody knows the Rainy Day Man song from that episode, you're nodding, yes. That's one of the best songs in Sailor Moon. Well, the dub. It was so good. But Sailor Moon Crystal, yo, Makoto in this show, she's great. She's a good friend. She's always happy. She's kind of got this kinship going on with Sailor Venus. She's a ray of sunshine. I really appreciate it. There's nothing negative about her in Sailor Moon Crystal. So this is kind of the issue we're running into, right? There's not a lot to say about characters in Sailor Moon Crystal. It's good or it's bad. In this case, it's great. I think she's a great character. So it's kind of the same. She does more in the original, but she's great. I mean, she's so cute in Sailor Moon Crystal. We're running into a wall with Sailor Moon. It's hard to pick one when you're just such a big fan. Like, most of you guys watch both shows.
Yep.
So you never really have to choose, so I did not choose with these two. Okay, Sailor Venus. Original Sailor Venus has that one episode about her backstory where she totally pretends to die in an explosion so the boy that she likes doesn't feel bad for dating somebody else.
What?
It's like more complicated than a K-drama. It's also amazing because, like, when do you have the opportunity to pretend to die in an explosion? That's just so cool. She's kind of a ditz otherwise. That's a big negative. But she's also a ray of sunshine. She's always there. She's got a cat. That's good, but that's for both of them. Sailor Moon Crystal. She's got a sword. She didn't use it when she needed to kill Queen Beryl, so Sailor Moon did it anyway. In the manga, I don't know if you guys know this, Sailor Venus impales Queen Beryl. In Sailor Moon Crystal, Sailor Moon just like smacks her necklace. With a sword, mind you. So what's the point of giving her a sword if she's not gonna use it? Then you've got the episode where she remembers, like, oh my gosh, we were in love with the generals. And we were really in love And now they're dead, and we're gonna cry and move on to the next season. Never talk about it. It's a mixed bag. She's a ray of sunshine, she gets a sword, it's mostly the same. And then she transforms into a boy, and it's cute. There are too many people on this slide, so we're moving on. Sailor Pluto dies in a helicopter explosion. Do you guys remember that episode? Yeah. She stops time, tells Sailor Uranus and Neptune, like, peace out, I got this. She did not got this because she exploded. She's really not in the show, though. That's a huge negative for Sailor Pluto in the original show. She's in a little bit of Sailor Moon R, comes back in Sailor Moon S. It's kind of there in the beginning of Stars. You never really see this girl, which kind of adds to the mystery. When you watch the original show, you're like, wow, she's so cool. She's like a god. But no screen time. Sailor Moon Crystal, okay, no helicopter explosion, but she dies for using her powers. Imagine if Goku died for using his powers. You'd have no show.
She only dies for stopping time because that is taboo.
And yeah, she...
Forbidden by who?
Forbidden by Kronos. So in Sailor Moon Crystal, you get a little more backstory. There's like some kind of meta Greek mythology there where she says her father is Kronos and the rules exist. Queen Serenity is the one to give her the rules for some reason. Kronos never appears, he's just mentioned. She's also Chibiusa's best friend in Crystal. So when Chibiusa becomes Black Lady, she only becomes good again because she sees her friend Pluto die in front of her eyes. And it's like one of the more emotional moments in Sailor Moon Crystal. It was really well handled, just because, yo man, they were really close. She was her only friend for 900 years. Because remember, Chibiusa was alive for 900 years for some reason and didn't age. Sailor Moon Crystal wins for Sailor Pluto, big time. There's a lot more screen time for her. She's so freaking cool. But who cares? Because Chibiusa has a new best friend. Like, all that work for nothing. So we're moving on. Sailor Saturn, original Sailor Saturn, also, she's not really in the show. Hotaru's in the show, but Sailor Saturn's barely in it. Shows up, kind of floats around and tells Sailor Moon, let me go fight, and goes to fight off screen. You don't see the battle at the end of Sailor Moon S. It's just not there, doesn't happen, it's in a pocket dimension. She's really intense, just shows up, I am the Messiah, blah, blah, blah. Like, who cares? Like, just let Sailor Moon fight. Sailor Moon Crystal, though, she has a transformation for the first time in 20 years. The 2D transformations in Sailor Moon Crystal, Season 3, are amazing. Yeah. They're so pretty. And Sailor Saturn finally gets one outside of that one video game that one time.
Oh yeah, and it's not there's video games.
Oh yeah!
Lots of them. Lots of them.
Sailor Moon RPG.
Sailor Moon, Another Story is a great game. You can download it, put it on your computer.
Yeah, there's like an English translation for it.
Yes, thank you. There is a translation. You can play it. It's a brand new story. Okay, side note, this video game is bomb, and you gotta play it. The Sailor Scouts encounter alternate universe evil versions of themselves. And they wear like these skin-tight outfits, and it's amazing. So, yes, there are Sailor Moon video games.
So Sailor Moon Injustice.
Kind of, yeah. So she only got a transformation in a video game until finally in Sailor Moon Crystal. They did her justice. She has like 3 episodes all about her. She's fierce, she's amazing. And now she's Chibiusa's best friend. And she's also part robot. That's a thing. Originally, Naoko Takeuchi wanted to make Sailor Mercury part robot, and she kind of scrapped the idea, but then let it roll with Sailor Saturn. They put that in Crystal. I really appreciate it. So I think the Sailor Moon Crystal version of Sailor Saturn, objectively, in this case, is better. And then we got this girl. Are there any Chibiusa fans here?
I mean, Chibiusa's trash regardless.
Yes.
I saw no hands go
That's
up.
why I'm glad the live action did not have her replaced with Luna.
But Luna was also trash.
Not nearly as annoying as Chibiusa.
Yeah.
Good point.
And she didn't kiss her dad.
Yeah, it's there. I wrote it. Yes, thank you. You are in my brain. So Chibi Usa is universally disliked. That's just a thing, especially in season 2 of Sailor Moon, where she doesn't have powers. She just shows up. She steals the silver crystal for some reason. Really, for some reason, because at the end you find out it was in my body. Like, no one likes Chibi Usa. She gets an entire season to herself. That's season 4 with Pegasus. The focus is on Chibi Usa for sure. And she has a fling with a horse.
Yeah, his was cute. He was a sexual awakening for a lot of furries.
He probably was. And that was before the My Little Pony comeback. She forgets about him and dates a fairy in one of the movies. So she is not loyal at all. Not to her friends and not to her boyfriends. She becomes evil. That's in both. She kisses her dad. Didn't happen in Sailor Moon Original. I didn't need to see that. It was weird. I felt weird watching it. You know the horse is coming back. Utena is one of the greatest shows ever made. She's totally gonna end up with the horse again. And I don't know how that's gonna be handled. It's gonna be a movie. So imagine Helios, right? But Michael Bay. That's what I'm imagining. His wings are gonna explode. It's gonna sparkle.
This turns into this huge ripped guy.
900 years old would make you less of a brat.
I don't even know why she's 900 years old.
I don't know. That's
Does
just
anybody know
not-
why
That's such
she's
an
900?
important plot point.
I think it's stated in the manga that she's 900 years old.
There was something about that.
Yeah.
So like everybody's just not aging?
Yeah, nobody ages.
Because of the-
So is she like the only child born after? Okay, like, guys, Sailor Moon doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You can leave this panel just knowing
Okay,
Sailor
fine.
Moon doesn't make sense. Like, so the idea
This is
is,
serious business.
I'm rolling up my sleeves because this is gonna get real. The idea is that Sailor Moon becomes queen of the entire Earth. How? I don't know. Nobody knows. It's not in the comic. It's not in the
She
show.
married the Earth Prince Endymion, and that's how.
But we have governments.
She's an alien from the Every single one of them.
So Chibi Usa is 900. I don't know why.
Literally just
So does she
point at
curse
all
to stay that way forever? That's
Crystal
terrible.
wanted to.
So she rules by fear.
Sailor Moon will scare you into submission, guys.
That's not nice. So Chibi Usa, Sailor Moon Crystal version of Chibi Usa is way less annoying. Thank God.
What was the video game called again with the alternate universe?
Another story. I'm coupling these two together because they are one of the greatest couples of all time. Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune are not cousins, but they do steal babies, so I don't really know how to quantify that. They did make them look incestuous, thank you. They stole a baby in season 3, which is not cool. And they kind of don't really mind murdering random people. However, this is a huge point, Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune. They were out of the closet at a time where it was really difficult to be gay. And even if they tried to like bury their gays and make them cousins, everybody knew. You watched the show and you knew this is something different, this is something new. And that's a huge, huge deal with Sailor Moon and any anime. And that's just like the biggest prop I could ever give to these characters, because they were not very friendly in the original Sailor Moon, but they were fabulous otherwise. Sailor Moon Crystal version of the two. Everyone's in love with the man. Like Usagi's like, I guess this girl kissed me, but I'm okay with it. And Mamoru was like, sure, I'll take concert tickets.
Permission, so she's kind of into that, I guess.
We need to have a Me Too panel after this one's over. And even Mamoru was like, cool, concert tickets from a pretty lady, all right. They do want to murder a child, so kind of polarizing there. They do get this amazing ending theme. I love it. It's great. It's the greatest ending of Sailor Moon Crystal. But yet, Sailor Uranus needs to learn personal boundaries. Talk to me.
How do you feel about that one episode that out of nowhere Uranus has kissed Sailor Moon and then Sailor Moon never told Mamoru about
Oh,
what
she
happened?
never did anything. She didn't tell her friends. She didn't tell Mamoru. I mean,
just
like,
fan service.
what would you have done?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I
Like,
think you're happy. Don't kiss me without my permission.
if you think about it, the Sailor Scouts are like co-workers. So basically, Sailor Moon went to work with Sailor Uranus. Sailor Uranus kissed her. She kept it secret from her boyfriend. Maybe Sailor Moon's not that great of a character. That's weird. How do I feel about it? She's a teenager. When it comes down to it, they're 14 and 15 years old. You know, kids don't really know what's going on. I think that's why Sailor Moon is one of the better shows out there, because they're not going out and saying, like, I'm gonna pilot a robot! And it's like, they're kind of okay with it, even though you're a kid. Sailor Moon in Sailor Moon Original, she struggles with her powers sometimes, especially in season 5. You know, her boyfriend's gone, she doesn't know where he is, there's a new Sailor Scout. She has some really emotional moments in the original show where they just handle it like, here's the weight of the world, teenage girls. Dude, Sailor Moon from the beginning says, like, Luna, I don't want to do this. But eventually she takes on the mantle, and this just goes back to that slide about Sailor Moon. She shows so much growth over time. It's really great to watch it from beginning to end. If you ever have a chance to just watch it, you know, with maybe the Viz dub when it's all done.
No.
Ouch.
I can't find the deep dub. It's so expensive.
Terrible.
eBay.
They don't know how to emote. At least the 90s dub gave us emotion.
I do actually agree with you, but I know not everybody feels the same way, and that's fine. Please leave this panel thinking there is no right answer to this, because I don't have the answers. Spoiler alert, that's why she's leaving.
And then when they switched to Clover, I just switched to Japanese. And then there's no English sub for Stars anyway, so you might as well switch to Japanese at some point.
There's some things in Cloverway that went well. What those things are, I don't know.
Definitely not Linda Valentine.
Oh, no. Let us not mention her today at this panel. But anyway, Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune, pride is forever with Sailor Moon. Even the villains are good. It's great. So we've got this guy and his purple pleated pants. I think that's the most droning I've heard today. Oh gosh. There's just a rumble. Oh God.
Use your mic.
I'm gonna use my mic. Why am I gonna use my mic?
I hear you.
I'm not gonna yell at you guys anymore. I've been requested to use the mic for some reason. This is terrible. I'm putting it back.
See, everybody agrees. Thank goodness. You guys are great, by the way. Thank you for staying. Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, this guy, he only throws roses in the original show. I don't know if any of you caught that, because I didn't. I was doing research for this, and I was like, hey, where are the roses? It's not a thing. It's not a thing at all. So the iconic Sailor Moon tuxedo mask rose throw only occurs in original Sailor Moon. I think that's a big plus to the show. And even when he's evil, he's like a terrible bad guy, because he's constantly like undermining Kunzai. Do you remember that small arc of evil tuxedo mask? He's like, oh, you want the rainbow crystals, and I'm working with you, but I'm gonna keep these in my pocket. And it's like weird. He gives him the Sailor Moon anyway, even though he's still evil. I don't understand. Power of love. Okay.
There's even a song in the 90s dub called Power of Love.
That's true. It's on the Lunar Rock album. It's a terrible name for an album, but.
It's beautiful, corny 90s.
And Moonlight Night. Remember Moonlight Night? That was acceptable in the 90s, but not today. There was a lot of cultural appropriation going on in Sailor Moon. It is a product of its time. Sailor Moon Crystal, though, explosions come out of his hands.
And do you know how long that attack's called? Like smoking out.
It's Tuxedo Le Smoking Bomber.
So long.
It's like a Hadouken Kamehameha move. He's got powers for the first time ever, and I think it's awesome. It's a huge plus to Sailor Moon Crystal. And I have a footnote that says, see next slide for the next reason. Sailor Moon Crystal wins, just so you know, between all the tuxedo masks. Well, remember when this actually is shown on the screen at the end of the show, it pans down to his pants. So Sailor Moon Crystal version wins because he shoots explosions out of his hands and that. So I'm going to open this up to discussion and questions. I thought about talking about the villains, but there's like 1,000 villains in the original show. And in Crystal, they die one by one by one by one by one. They don't last. Yeah, go ahead.
We can just talk about the villains who are girls in America.
Okay, no problem. That's a great suggestion. So, we have a few villains that switched genders in the original American dub. The first of which was Zoisite. Zoisite, she had an amazing voice actress who died of cancer. It's really sad. She was great. Yeah, she recently died. And that's the only positive thing I can say about Zoisite, because Zoisite is a gay man in the original Sailor Moon, the Japanese version. The Viz dub now has a dude doing the voice, which is great. Some people feel a little strangely about it because they're just not used to the gays. But Sailor Moon, I'm telling you, pride never ends with Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon, everybody's gay. Even Sailor Moon kind of is a little gay too. But
yeah, when she sees Sailor Mars for the first time, she has hearts in her eyes.
oh, not even that. In the manga, her whole thing was Seiya is amazing and I love it. So that's the first one. Then we've got Fisheye. Fisheye is also a dude.
That really confused me because
Fisheye is great. Fisheye is one of the better villains of the show. But in America, Fisheye was a girl. But Viz fixed it in the new dub. So, see, Viz, while they don't have a lot of emotion, they fixed everything wrong with the original dub. It is not cool to bury your gays. And we're missing one. There's another one. What's that ugly lady that hangs out with Nihilenia?
oh, the big
Zirconia.
Yeah.
Zirconia's gender is questionable, and I know it was swapped. I just don't remember which way.
It was originally, in the Japanese it's female, and in the original it's in the dub.
Thank you so much. I knew it was swapped. That one, there was really no reason to it. It wasn't because, you know, they're scared of kids seeing gay people, which is, that notion entirely is ridiculous, by the way. But, you know, thank God it's 2018. Those are, and then the whole reason Sailor Moon Stars didn't come out, supposedly, was because the Starlights are transvestites. Well, let me tell you, if you use magic, you're not a transvestite. And kids are not going to go, oh, I could use a magic power and become a chick. That's not a thing. And that's the saddest thing about Sailor Moon is we never got the last freaking season. I'm turning red because I'm so mad about this.
To be fair, there is a YouTube, they're not on YouTube anymore, but they have a website, Fighter for Love Dubs.
Oh yeah, they're dubbing season 5.
Is dubbing Sailor Stars as the 90s cast, and except for the Sailor Mercury, it's spot on.
Yeah, Corey Tsukino runs that. He's a really cool dude. He's got like high quality versions of those episodes. If you've never seen those episodes in high quality, you can see them on that website. So yeah, man, questions, discussions, please talk to me.
Has anybody seen the Robot Chicken Parodies?
Yes! I wish I had a clip of it. I'm pretty sure this is this is like a G-rated panel. I would totally play it on YouTube though. It's hilarious. It's the one that ends with anime is weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It's so great.
Because
You should play it.
No, I'll get fired. So let's see, what else? Oh man, we got 20 whole minutes, guys. We could just play an episode of Sailor Moon.
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Anybody want to play Dinosaur Game? It's here anyway.